Welcome to another Demarcation Media Community Showcase video. This video is long overdue because it's been, I don't even want to know how long it's been since I did the last one. The last one, and also it was the first one, was about photos. I took a look at photos from the Mega Gallery for a little contest that I ran there and kind of gave overviews and all that. If you want to see that, I'll put a card up in the corner. So you can see that. But I wanted to make this a more regular thing because the community is doing a lot of cool stuff and it doesn't always get attention. So what we're going to be doing today is I have 8 different stop motions from 8 different creators compiled and collected together by myself along with the help of Multiversal Productions to react to and just kind of show off and bring some attention to. So all of the stop motions will be linked in the description and in the pinned comment. I will not be showing the entirety of any of these stop motions in this video. So once you finish this video, or pause the video and go watch them, and then you can come back. So let's go ahead and jump in. Got my earbuds here. My computer is down here, but I'm not going to be trying to get it in frame just because I feel like that's going to be a pain. The first one that I want to talk about was by Multiversal himself. He did a film a while back called ODSTerror, and I actually helped with that one. I voiced one of the characters. And then he worked for a very long time and made ODSTerror 2, which was incredible. It's 50 minutes long, 51 minutes long. So highly recommend you get yourself some snacks, go sit down and watch that. I watched it on stream when it first came out. You can see my reactions and whatnot there. But overall, I just wanted to give like a quick overview. It's such a massive, and I feel like most of you guys watching this video will know, it's such a massive undertaking making a 51-minute stop motion. So that in of itself is impressive. But I was just impressed with the entirety of it. The story was very well played out. It felt like I was actually watching a film. I actually got attached to the characters and like it meant something to me whether they lived or died. The overall just like composition, the mood was great, and the editing was also really good. The other side of Multiversal Productions is Perry, the editor, and the editing was on point all the way through. There was a few parts where I was like, wait a minute, that was added in as like a computer generated screen, but I almost didn't notice. So yeah, overall, very good. Highly recommend you watch it. I really enjoyed watching it. Like I said, it felt like actually watching a feature film. It's probably one of the longest stop motions that I've seen in the Mega community. I'm sure that there are others, but it's pretty high up there. So this next one comes from LT Motion. Now, this is not somebody that I'm real familiar with in the community, but I wanted to give this a watch. I don't remember. Some of these I've already seen before, and some of them I have not. Some of them it's been a while since I've seen it, so we're going to just kind of go through this. This is called Lesser Demons Arrival. It's all about ODSTs. Thematically appropriate, as we were just talking about ODSTerror.
All right, gentlemen, listen up. The ship is heading for Calcin 5.
This is like a really unfair critique, but the arms are on the wrong side and the joints are backwards. That's just a pet peeve of mine when the joints are put on backward. I do love these custom ODSTs. Seeing customs in stop motions is fantastic, and using the old style ODSTs is a really good idea.
Sarge, Stanley, does anyone read me? This is Private Travis. Does anyone read me? They must have set up a jammer somewhere.
Voice acting is pretty darn good so far.
We're about to launch.
Good luck, boys.
Clever cutting to black and using the sounds to show something that would be difficult to animate. That's very clever. Clay as the muzzle flare, interesting. I have not seen that before.
Those gunshots are pretty close. Should we follow them?
I will say this is something I see people do a lot in stop motions, is have the figures walk with like lumps of clay on the bottom of their feet. But often I see too much clay put onto the bottom, and so it looks like they're walking on marshmallows. That's something that I would recommend not doing. Now, I'm no expert on stop motion. I used to do it quite a bit years ago. I'm only just now getting back into it. But I would not recommend doing that, because then it takes away from your scene. If you need all this like lumpy clay, it just looks like they're walking on marshmallows.
Help us get this radio jammer destroyed.
That's what we're here for. You got any grenades?
Does it look like it?
Alright then. I'm gonna need some cover fire for this one.
The writing for the dialogue in this one feels pretty good. There's a few things that's like didn't necessarily need to be said. There's like in writing the idea of like show things more than you tell things. So that's something I do see a lot, where it's like, oh, there's a lot of talking to explain what's going on instead of just showing it, which that's difficult when you're doing stop motion, and everything that you want to show requires a little bit of like extra work, and that stacks up quick. Overall though, I'm pretty impressed with the dialogue here.
Sir.
The use of clay as like a rag, clever.
Cooper is KIA.
I see.
Very good, very impressed. That's quality. That is very quality stuff. All right, the next one comes from MantleXAnimations. Mantle is one of the people I'm a little more familiar with in the stop motion community. This is one that I have seen before, but it's been a bit, so I'm looking forward to rewatching it. Instantly, like, very dramatic. The lighting is red, like, oh, this is a war zone, and you can tell. Lots of camera movement in this one. That's something I'm always impressed with, because it's hard to get smooth camera movements with stop motion. I forgot it ended that way. Well, that was a very unsatisfying ending, but the effects were on point. The animation was on point. It felt maybe a little less smooth than some others I've seen, but the movement of the camera and the whole like red light really worked for that kind of slower frame rate style. And bro, Tarkov, why is he dead now? The next one is from VraptorHiss, and this one is one that I've actually seen a handful of times. And it's really well done. The ground is one thing that I always notice. It looks a bit like peanut butter. And that's something that can happen with clay, especially if you're not careful about constantly smoothing it out as you go. But the lighting in this one is pretty good. It definitely feels like indoor lighting to me, but it's well lit. And the backdrops are pretty cool. I like the use of like moss, modeling moss, or whatever that's called. And it's an interesting story concept. It took me like 2 watch throughs to actually figure out which side was which, and like who I was supposed to be rooting for in terms of the story. But I don't think that hurt the stop motion at all. It just made me watch it again. I definitely think in future ones that storytelling kind of can be improved upon. But for this one, I think it was pretty well done. Also, I like the use of the Arbiter, like not the Halo 2 and 3 Arbiter, like actually the Halo 5 Arbiter. I don't see that very often. I don't know. He gave me like Optimus Prime vibes in this stop motion. The fights are really well done. Overall, this is one that, like I said, I've come back to a couple times, and I enjoy it every time I watch it through. Hydration. This next one comes from Corey117. This is called Flood Firefight. This is also one I've seen before. Now, this one got me. This one got me the first time I watched it. I was instantly impressed. First of all, no voice acting, just showing everything, which is really good. Animation, on point, super smooth, really well done. The Spartans that are the main characters look really unique. It's easy to tell the difference between them. And the flow of the story is really... It's got like a heavy, the story's heavy. Like, it's a hopeless fight, and it really shows the hopelessness of the fight. The effects are good. Very, very good. The use of like stuffing as the muzzle flares, really good. Use of clay to show flood like splattering, also really, really good. This is a satisfying watch. Highly recommend you go and watch the whole thing. Like I said, all of the links will be down in the description and in the pinned comment. I won't spoil the ending for you. Go ahead and watch it. This is from Danixky. I always say Danixky. That's not correct. Danixky. I'm just gonna keep saying Danixky. Danixky Studio did this stop motion. This is called Feet First into Hell, and this instantly caught my eye because the use of paper and cardboard here is pure genius. Like, everything from a cardboard skyline to a cardboard drop pod. We get Tarkov again. This time he's weathered. The lighting is, so good. And then the like cut up, the use of the paper is insane. And I think a lot of stop motion people can take some ideas from Danixky's video here, because I think this is brilliant. Because you don't need a ton of mega for this. All you need is some construction paper. Yeah, very good. I may try this myself. Once again, effects are done with like the stuffing. I don't know why I keep losing that word. Done with the stuffing. And then the Covenant weapons are done with like Lego pieces and stuff. Also really good. The shaky cam in this was another thing that really stood out to me. I thought that was really impressive because it's not like, I can't see what's happening. But it's actually, I don't know, it emulates the shaky cam that we see in like movies and stuff. There's use of clay here on the feet. But like I was saying, there's only a little bit. You only need a little bit to keep the figures up. And it doesn't look like they're walking on marshmallows. So yeah, highly recommend you give this one a watch through. I have to say it's probably one of my favorite stop motions that I've seen. The effects, the use of the paper, just all of it is brilliant. And the use of paper to give a sense of a wider world around the figures that are fighting, very well done. And once again, like the sad ending, I won't spoil anymore. This one is from Tompkins Animation, and this is called Hunting the Covenant Part 1. The movement though, super cinematic. This is really good. I think that the set design is really good too. I like the use of the blue for the background. I've seen a lot of stop motion people do green. Don't really know why you would do green unless you're trying to green screen. Use of the scorpion, really nice. The close-in shots that just, I'm being taken through the scene and I get to see what's happening. I'm not just like static and not moving, which a lot of stop motions are like that. And I personally have filmed a lot of my stop motions that way in the past, just because it's easy to set up one shot and not move it at all. But the movement adds so much.
This assignment's almost over. We just have one target left on our list. This elite warlord.
Voice acting overall is good. I will say that some of the mixing is a little bit tinny and harsh, especially when it came to the one Spartan. Like softening that up a little bit is probably what I would have done. But overall, another fantastic stop motion. Highly recommend you check it out. And then the last one that I wanted to look at today is from the stop motion specialist, and this is called Further in the City. This one impressed me right away because of the use of real water to emulate the rain. Now, yes, the drops are too big. The surface tension looks weird because blah, 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 blah. But I was impressed because it's like constantly moving. He still manages to animate with it. And like, I don't know, that seems difficult. And the effects and the lighting sell it really well. That's what really sells it here, because it's one thing to just put wetness on your figures, but it's another thing to get the lighting and the effects to match up perfectly. The way the music is, it's very like haunting. I can tell some of the animation is like the movements have gotten lost. And the main thing was like there was a brute and he started running and his arms were up here and then he kept them up here until he got shot. So it was like, oh, okay, well, the stop motion specialist probably was focusing more on like the running forward than keeping the arms like loose and like actually moving. Other than that, it's very smooth. I really like the pop and swaps that are going on for the main characters. And the lighting sells it. And again, with the sad ending, yeesh. I mean, I know the Human Covenant War was full of sad endings, so it makes sense. But still, it's like, oh. Well, there you go. That is a very small selection of the work that the mega stop motion community is churning out. Knowing what goes into stop motion, because like I said, used to do it a whole bunch. I loved doing it. I did it literally, there were sometimes I would be doing it every day. So I know the work that goes into it. So this sort of thing, when I see one that really stands out to me, I'm really impressed. And I think that the stop motion community is a very core part of the mega fan base. And I am really impressed by the work that's being churned out. So to everybody who is out there in that community, keep up the good work. If you're new to it and you're like, oh, those stop motions are so good, like I'm never gonna be able to do that. It's practice makes perfect. That's really how stop motion is. You have to have patience, you have to be able to work at it, and be willing to have your first ones be kind of jittery and the light flickers, or, you know, be willing to have less than perfect work for a little while as you learn. So yeah, very impressed. Go check out all of the different creators that I showed off here. Again, I will have them all linked in the pinned comment. They are all worth a watch beginning to end. Highly recommend it. And yeah, again, just good job, guys. Round of applause for all of the work that has been done. Very good. Very good. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.